So, are we live?
Yep.
Holy shit. Okay.
Are you tired?
Yeah, I flew in today. I know. It's the hardest life. It's 2 in the morning. It's Massacre 2.
It's early.
Is it?
I mean, last time I think the Diz battle ended at like 3 in the morning.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it started at
It's been
2:30.
like hours since the battle ended.
Yeah.
So it's early.
So, that's Aaron Solomon.
Yeah.
Iron Solomon.
Yeah.
My old friend Aaron. So many things to talk about. I know you've done a few interviews today, so I want, if I ask you a question that you've already been asked, and you were just going to give me a question, like an answer that you've already given some other outlet, I want you to get the buzzer out and say, gang.
Can we play a cooler sound than that?
Yeah, well, what are our options?
Oof. I'll just make it up as I go along.
Okay. How'd you think the battle went?
Really well.
That's the go-to. But let me. Okay, well, this is a challenge then, because I'll have to. You challenge me to ask better questions than anyone else has been asking you today, or at least different questions. So, what was the most memorable line that B Magic said to you?
That's a good question. Tonight, more than ever, I wasn't able to pay attention to what he was saying because I was so down to the wire with preparing for the battle that I was just holding on mentally for dear life to the things that I was remembering in my mind.
Someone mentioned, I didn't actually catch this during the battle, but someone mentioned that you had your phone out off round and you were going through your stuff, and which makes sense because you told me that you were kind of.
I was texting.
Together. Oh, really? Hey, what are you doing after the battle?
Girls.
We're just like, don't worry, baby.
Exactly.
No one's shot me yet, baby. Don't worry. So I guess another question is, like, a lot of battlers have caught flack before for pulling out their phone, going over their bars.
It's shameful.
So do you think
That's why I
forfeits
would
the
never
battle?
do that. I would never do that. Yeah, maybe. If somebody was, I would take that L. If somebody called it.
Yes.
Yeah, why not? I mean, I feel like it's all relative, and like, you know, the rules, the rules change, you know, from zip code to zip code and from day to day, and like there are some rules and things that are important to me that people don't give a shit about.
Like what?
Biting. I mean, there was a time in hip hop where that was like, it's the word snitch. You know, it was that dirty of a word to be like, yo, like you're a biter.
Right.
You know, and
Right.
that doesn't matter anymore. You know, lack of originality, like.
It's weird though, because it's like, it feels like, you know, there's, you know, I hear lines that I've heard before all the time, and it's like, that's kind of natural.
Sure. Yeah.
To some extent, and like no one will ever admit to. It's like, oh well, yeah, I did watch that battle or whatever. It's like, so it's hard to accuse anyone of biting other than just providing back-to-back video proof of like, you said this and this guy said this before you, so I guess it's technically a bite.
Yeah.
But then the other thing is like style biting,
Which is huge right now.
yeah,
Bigger than ever, I feel like.
Who do you think is your biggest clone?
Pat Stay.
You think so?
But like physically, you know?
Yeah,
Not like rap
he's the clone that they like
He's like
gave
a
the
smaller
growth serum to. And
Yeah, he's like a weaker, like a frailer, more cowardly me.
Yeah.
You know?
Who would win in a battle between you and Peste?
What kind of a battle?
A rap battle.
Ooh, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
No, I'm not sure.
What about what other kind of battles are there?
So many.
Battle of 1812.
That was a good one.
Yeah, one of the best.
Bars.
Yeah. Who do you think had performance of the night tonight?
I missed some stuff because I was focused. I think, from what I could tell, the list is like T Moneybags, Big K, and Pat and Hollow. You know, I think probably Hollow had performance.
You're not even gonna put yourself in the top 5?
I'm me. I can't. But that's not me saying that he won. I'm just saying that I think that his, he he had Performative tonight. I think he performed.
Sorry, who are we talking about?
Hollow.
Hollow,
I think
okay.
that he performs the shit out of his rhymes, and
Yes.
he had them really well, and he's just super comfortable, and yeah, I think he probably had performance of the night. But again, we're just talking about performance, not
Yes.
necessarily like that he won the battle or
Right.
he was the best of the night, but just like he's got that down. That chamber is like
Yeah.
he's got it. You know
What
I mean?
occurred to me tonight for the first time that what Hollow, what he impressed me the most with was this marriage of performance and content. So really like performative, like you saw the part where he's like bow, 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 look like I'm doing the backstroke, and then like the same thing with the
You did it a little better than that.
yeah, well, I got that fire. And then the other thing with the Pat Stay, you know, everybody in the hood is scared because you got that police stance.
Yeah.
So and it's like that happens. It's an incredible moment. The crowd goes crazy, and then I'm looking at my phone like, how do I quote that? It's like, but it's because you can't quote, you know, that performance element to it. Do you think about that? Like, what am I gonna do when I say this bar? How am I gonna move my hands around?
I want to. I try to, but I also, I'm still warming up. I'll get there.
All right.
I think I need to set a writing deadline for myself so that I can feel comfortable enough with the material to, you know, think a little more about that type of stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, obviously with Hollow, like that stuff is really choreographed, and not to be like choreographed. You know, it sounds like a drastic word.
A what word?
Drastic, like it sounds.
Drastic. I think
Yeah.
you said Jurassic.
No.
Yeah.
It sounds like heavy-handed to say, oh, that was choreographed, but you know it is. It's planned gestures, and I think it adds an element, and it's something that, you know, is new, right? For me, like in terms of just the era, the gap that I missed, you know, the PG step and all these other dance moves that people do, it's new. So it's something that I haven't put a lot of thought into, but I think once I get a little more comfortable on stage and I have material that I'm really comfortable with, it's definitely something to think about more.
Because you had this gap from, what was that, 2012 to 2015?
Yeah.
So what, Summer Madness 2 to World Dom 5. So yeah, about 3 years was, you know, was a moment when, you know, Summer Madness 2 really is what launched battle rap into the mainstream. Where, you know, it's the closest it got into the mainstream. Whereas NBA players are quoting Luscious Bars and Jay-Z, and it had this like, that I felt was that, and kind of a few things with Eminem stuff and Total Slaughter. Like there was this huge moment for battle rap where it's like, wow, it's really like, you know, emerging. And you were in your cave hibernating at that point, and you missed a lot of that like surge of new fans that came in, surge of new talent that came in, new platforms that came in. So I guess the question that I have is like, where does your legacy fit into battle rap when you've got like these 3 years of the dark ages essentially?
Sure.
How does that fit in?
I mean, I think that's where people, you know, are starting to write me off, or you know, where the fans that are having the debates are younger, or you know, the context of, you know, hip hop is very much like we eat. You know, we don't. It's not like rock and roll where the OGs are revered. It's like they, you know, we want to eat the old and get them out of here.
Right. Yeah.
So I think that like because of that, some of the things that I've done get overlooked because it's contextual. You know what I mean? Like I think that if you watch, you know, me versus Jen, and then you watch like what are the other like 5 best battles from that year, and then you do that with me versus Ines and me versus Math, and you look at like the lyricism and some of the things that I'm doing lyrically and writing wise, and see if anybody else was doing it at those times, and then also see how well like some of that writing would actually be like super impressive 10 years later today. I think that's where I feel like some stuff gets overlooked. You know what I mean? Like, but I also am not I'm not the type of person to. That is what it is.
You're a modest guy.
Well, not just.
Hey everyone. I'm Iron Solomon, and I'm a modest guy. I don't trumpet up.
No, I'm super humble. I'm like
the humblest.
the best.
Definitely top 5 humble.
Top 5 humbler alive. No, what I was saying, Chris, what I was gonna say, is just that it is what it is, and that people, if the fans don't put me in that place, then I'm not in that place, and that's part of why I'm back too, is because I don't like not seeing my name in those lists and feeling like I deserve to be there, but I also feel like if I deserve to be there, then I should be able to come back and do what I'm doing now.
Right.
And I also recognize that I did exist, being ahead of my time put me in a position where, guys who were incredible then maybe weren't ready for what I was bringing to the table, and then from what I was doing, a whole group of people emerged behind me that were great, but I was already at a point where, from a career trajectory brand perspective, it didn't make sense for me to battle them.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I understand why people will look at that arc of my career and be like, well, what's his resume really like? You know what I mean? Like, shirt and tie, who the fuck is that?
Right.
Like, they don't care.
Right.
Mike Assassin, who cares? It's not a resume. You know what I mean? And so I get that, and that's reality, and so that's part of
That
why.
was a different time, though. That was like you were battling whoever was there.
Anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was ever on the block.
And the idea, the funny thing to me is the idea of like me, you were ducking all these guys. It's like, son, do you know how many years I would battle a home? I deserve the right to start to get a little picky after years of 32-man battles in one night where you don't know who your fate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
But finish your thought. Sorry.
no, just that I understand how it played out like that, and there are times where I have to think like, okay, well, who did I really battle? Jin, Enes, Math, and I have to remember, like, maybe my resume, maybe I have holes in my resume, which is why, in coming back, I'm not just resting on my laurels and being like, I want Lux and Clips and Hollow, and that's who I am, and that's the realm that I occupy.
But Day and Diz are like that's shooting for the top of the pile, really.
I didn't want to battle Diz. Daylyt, I feel like
you. Diz is crazy like
no, I just didn't. I didn't want to. I knew that the battle with Diz was inevitable, but I wanted to warm up a little more to it and get some wins under my belt, because I know that there's a lot of narrative with Diz, and there's narrative with Mook, and that was part of why I feel like that battle went wrong, was the narrative of the wrestler narrative. Like, that's my wrestler and that's not my wrestler. You know what I mean? And so, and then also the narrative of like, yo, Solomon went over, thinks that he could do URL and he got smashed, and now he had to go to King of the Dot, and then if I lose to Diz, or it's like not a good battle,
right?
Then it's really
he's washed,
washed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I just wanted to.
He was never a legend, that guy.
Exactly. And so I just wanted to warm up, to get a couple get a couple good showings under my belt before I stepped in with him, but. And this is this is the real science behind the scenes. But he also was coming off of the Jonai battle, and I forget what else it was. Dumbfounded, where it was like, man, like, this guy he's there right now, and so this is a good moment. And like, if I'm coming back and being like, I'm not ducking people and I'm not avoiding things, like, this kind of is the moment. And I can't deal with this. Blogging about me. So us doing like, I would only battle him on Blackout, because I can't in my personal life have Diz blogging about me. And so it was like, if it doesn't happen at this Blackout, then it's not going to happen for another year. And who knows where Diz is going to be in a year.
Right.
And he's the guy right now.
Right.
And so it had to be. You know what I mean? But I didn't want to do it.
Right. But I mean, it worked out for the best for both of you guys.
Amazing.
It was
an incredible
battle.
It worked out so well. Yeah. But and Daylyt, Daylyt is up there, but he's not yet, or not at the moment, or not then Lux, or Clips, or Hollow, or you know what I mean? He's up there, but he's like not all the way up there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I guess so. I think Daylight's near the top with all those guys. He's figured out a way he's kind of gamed the system to figure out. He's like, I don't have to have as many legendary. He's had legendary performances. He's had incredible performances. But he's also like figured out the cheat code or the shortcut to be like, and also I'm gonna like take a shit on stage and see what happens. And then it's like boom, and all of a sudden like he's telling me stories about him saving the giraffes with Hobson in Africa, and it's just like,
really?
I mean, and that's it. That's what I say to. He's like, really? And then he's like, yeah, like check my Instagram. And it's like, oh yeah, there is footage of you in Africa with Hobson saving the giraffes. Like,
that's crazy.
It's not just, and like he'll like kind of talk some shit, but there's like something behind the shit where you're like,
oh yeah,
that's
genius.
Like there's like definitely.
And I wasn't saying what I was saying to take anything away from Daylyt, but just to be like, if I had come back after a 3-year hiatus from the Mook loss and been like, I want Lux,
right?
It would have been like, all right,
right,
like,
yeah.
dude,
you and everybody else.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Back of the line.
Yeah. So I'm coming back and I'm just getting back in the trenches. Oh, there's holes in my resume. Okay, let's plug those holes and then we'll get back to the conversation.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about Mook. He was watching the pay-per-view today. He said he tweeted, he's like, always good to see my man Solomon in the ring, which is really, really dope. And like he's a guy that you could argue he is the man right now. He came off the rematch with Lux with an in-the-building win, and
I think an on-camera win too.
But
the building plays a role.
Yeah, definitely.
I know what you mean.
So that he took that win and kind of like, because Lux was kind of the man, and it was like Lux Hollow were the guys, and then Mook was kind of like a
face slipping a little.
Like he a lot of people counted him out totally of that Lux battle. He came in, battled, he did great, he won the battle, and then he was able to like vault from that win into like, now I'm the man. So it's like he's appearing in movies, he's putting out good music, and he's a talented guy, and he's clearly like a very smart guy at marketing himself and marketing his brand and taking care of that. But I think that the criticism against him is that, well, his resume, like he battled Lux almost 2 years ago, and he had, he's.
And it was a rematch.
What's that?
And it was a rematch.
Right. But like we were talking to Hollow and we were saying, is you and Mook ever going to happen? And he said, well, Mook, is Mook interested in battling, or is he interested in talking about battling? Yeah. So, how do you
getting his media game together?
Yeah. So, how do you see Mook? Do you think he deserves his spot near the top or at the top, or do you think that it's kind of like a paper crown?
I think that the top, I think in something like battle rap or even in sports, the top is subjective, and I think that like, you look at Jordan and you compare him to LeBron or other people that they try to put in his shoes, and you can't just count stats. You also have to count the fact that Jordan was doing things that were never done before, or like Tony Hawk, like you didn't know that a kickflip was physically possible until someone that came before you did it. So no matter how, you can do the triple kickflip, whatever, but like you only can do that because of what this guy contributed to the game. You know what I mean? And I think that where battle rap is as an entity, and the idea of having a brand as a battle rapper and having, picking battles and being strategic, Mook is the best at that. I mean, when you compare, what he does lyrically to how many battles he has and the status that he has, like there's no debate that he's the best brand career strategist in battle rap. You know what I mean? And so to me, he deserves the spot in Mount Rushmore that's reserved for the best brand strategist in battle rap, and that's not at all to take away from his lyricism or undersell him. Like that's a real compliment. And like to me, Jay-Z is the greatest rapper of all time, not just because of what he does on records. It's also about the arc, the career arc, and the whole. To me, creativity exists on different levels. There's a bar, then there's 4 bars, and there's a verse, and there's a song, and there's an album, then there's like a series of albums. Right. And I think that what Mook has created is not just about his battles. It's about the sum of all of the battles and that arc and the position he's put himself in and the narrative that he's written through the choices that he's made. And so I think that he deserves that, but I do think that all of the criticisms of him are valid too.
Yeah.
I mean, like he's, you know, dying hippopotamus.
I know.
You know, there's a couple things that, you know, but everybody has that. Everybody has that stuff.
Yeah, you
know?
said
Defeat.
compete.
Right, yeah. I like that line, though.
That made Bad Bars, the most recent episode of Bad Bars, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, on Don't
I
Flop.
don't even know what that is.
Don't Flop has a half-hour show devoted to Bad Bars.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
I knew that one was going to get flack, but you know, I grew up in the 90s, and I love... It spoke to me, and I wanted to. I wore the same hat for the Diz battle that I wore when I was in the MC Challenge with Immortal Technique, and we ended up battling.
Okay.
And I, you know, I just wanted some of that energy, and I wanted to kind of start the battle in the 90s.
Okay.
You know, so I did.
You're into music, obviously. What would you say are your 5, you know, it's like the Desert Island discs. What are the first 5 that come to mind?
Man, that's hard.
What's the first one? You already got one in your head. What are you talking about right now?
Gnarls Barkley first album.
Okay. With the Crazy on it?
Yeah. Incredible album. Outkast. ATLians. But they're so good. Can I take Life After Death?
Yeah.
That
Take
counts.
whatever you want.
It's a double disc. I don't know. That's a hard one. Those are good. Those are good answers. Let me think about it.
All right.
Well, can we
Get back to
continue?
us.
We're gonna do another interview. Like, we're gonna do 100 more interviews.
I hope so.
So
if you do 100 more battles, we'll do 100 more interviews.
we can pick this question because I those are just like those are good ones, but I
Well,
want to keep thinking about it.
it is 2:30 in the morning. You have to battle Dizaster in 10 minutes.
I got one.
You got a question?
Yeah.
You mentioned surf.
Yeah.
Anything you want to say about that? Is that a particular call out of any sort, or something you might be interested in?
We'll retake the question just in case the mic didn't catch
Yeah.
it. Christian, our cameraman, asked. So you mentioned surf. What was the context of you mentioning surf?
It was to belittle B Magic's cripness.
Right. Yeah.
And you know, I'm happy doing what I'm doing, and like I'm taking the matches I want to take, but I'm also just, you know, poking, seeing what's out there, stoking the fire a little bit, and not at all chasing anybody or campaigning, but you know, having fun throwing jabs here and there. So it just in the context of belittling Magic's cripness, surf, you know, as your friendly neighborhood crip, made the most sense. But he's dope. I like surf, and you know, I would be open to it, but you know, I'm not. It wasn't like it wasn't personal. It wasn't super personal.
His you watch him in Tay-Rock
Tay-Rock.
and DNA.
Gun titles.
Is out of control.
Yeah, it was crazy. Synergy is great.
Yeah, that's another one that you know, that idea of choreography of like, you know, even with it happened a lot in that double impact 2-on-2 stuff where like both guys would just like, you know, do this at the same time, or you know,
A lot of
it's
that.
just like I think that's pretty
A lot of
cool. You know, I
handguns.
kind of like that.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
I think it's another, you know, it's another element of the art form, and it's also, you know, there's the like high school element of it, like high school talent show, and that's not to downplay it. It's like, you know, it's like, do you watch Viceland?
Yeah, here and there.
Yeah. Have you seen it? You know, they did a whole special on the New Orleans football game, and like how the battle of the bands is the most important shit. You know what I mean? And that level of choreography, I think particularly like in Black American culture, is just like rich in the history. And so for me, when I see it, it feels like a step team, or it feels like there's continuity there with hip hop and just the roots of the culture, and it feels different from the one-on-ones. It's not just about lyrics; it's more about the show, which for me is it doesn't speak to me quite as much, but I like it. It's dope, and it's a new, a different, not new, but there's something new about the current iteration of it.
Yeah, you're too out of shape to do much choreography.
Yeah. I have to do some more jumping jacks. Yeah, exactly. I have to get back to the shape that I was in when they cloned me to make Pat stay.
Yeah, rather than the shape that you're in now, which is just a circle.
Yeah, like that.
No, man, I got fat too.
Whatever.
So we'll end it there.
Subject myself to this.
We'll end it. Gotta get it shot in eventually. I was really nice to you this interview. I didn't
Usually pretty nice.
Yeah, I didn't make one fur reference. Remember that interview?
I did.
It was weird. It was weird times. It's my fur phase.
Weird times at Ridgemont. At summer camp. At Battle Rap summer camp.
Yeah. What's the Spicoli line with the pizza?
I don't know.
We're talking Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Oh.
With Sean Penn.
We're talking about that, but I'm not I'm not well versed enough to.
It's 3 in the morning. We don't. Not every question's going to be a good one, guys.
There's some gems in there.
Great. Always a pleasure. I can't wait
Likewise.
to see your next battle.
Yeah.
I hope some people want to see you against Ilmac. They want to see you against Chilla. They want to see you against Thesaurus. They want to see you against Danny Myers.
Word.
I don't know if they want to see that, but I heard that.
You heard that?
The rumor mill is spinning on that one.
Where is Danny?
I don't know. I haven't
He's
seen
staying
him.
at this hotel, right?
Yeah.
He's kind of elusive.
Just got to know where to look.
Those are the names that came up in the chats or something?
I mean, that's just kind of like the most. I mean, if your next battles are in King of the Dot, those are kind of the more natural, other elite tier King of the Dot rappers.
Sure.
Those are the ones that I think make the most sense.
Yeah, that's a good list.
Yeah. I'm sure you'll battle them all before you're done.
Yeah. My list is pretty long.
Yeah.
I'm sticking around for a couple of years.
Good.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the scene.
Thank you.
Such a pleasure to have you.
Pleasure to be here. Pleasure
There
to have
we
you.
go. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. We are BattleRap.com.